You have to walk the talk. You have to be authentic as a leader. If you're not doing it, they see that.
It is entirely universal. There's other people who are going through this.
For me, a great leader needs to be able to marry three things: vision, systems, and people.
Welcome to Leadership Moments. If this is your first time, and if you are returning, thank you for your support.
This show is about leaders from all walks of life, leadership tips, and maybe even a little of what you wouldn't expect to help you in leadership.
We would appreciate it if you tell someone else about our podcast as we strive to support all leaders that want to just be better.
Let's get on with the show. So if you feel like your team is working harder but moving slower, you're not imagining it. The numbers are blunt. Global engagement is still low, time and energy are collapsing, and skills are shifting faster than most leadership systems can actually keep up with. Right, Stacey?
Yeah, and here's why it makes it so urgent is that these aren't HR problems, they're leadership system problems, which is why we want to bring this episode to you today. We're going to unpack the biggest corporate trends we're seeing, what the statistics are telling us, and what Tracy and I have actually seen in our executive coaching work behind the scenes.
So we'll give you root causes, what's driving it, and more importantly, a practical playbook you can use with your team this week.
So let's set the frame. Leaders are paying a silent tax right now in 4 currencies: attention, energy, trust, and capability.
And when any of these degrade, you get the same symptoms: slow execution, more friction, more turnover, risk, and fewer leaders willing to take ownership.
Right. So let's dive into the trends that we're seeing. Trend number 1, engagement is the silent tax on performance. Gallup's latest global snapshot: 21% engaged, 62% not engaged, and 17% actively disengaged. Now, that's not a rounding error. That's the operating reality of the global workforce. And Gallup estimates disengagement costs the global economy $438 billion annually in lost productivity. In coaching, we're seeing high performers still deliver, but they're emotionally detached. They're doing the job, but they're not building the mission.
Yeah. And, we're also seeing manager fatigue. This is all over the place. Leaders trying to drive those outcomes while carrying the emotional weight of their teams. And when managers are strained, engagement falls downstream. We see this all the time. Engagement collapses when people stop believing that their work matters, that they have meaning, that their effort leads to actual progress. They can see visually that they are actually having an impact. And then the last one is: my leader sees me and has my back. They need to know they're trusted.
Right. And when those break, people don't quit first, they withdraw first. There are 3 moves that lift engagement fast. One is define the win weekly. So here are our top 3 outcomes this week. Here's what looks great. Clarity creates momentum. And then number 2 is run real one-on-ones, not just status updates. So ask who you're working with, what's blocking you? What would make this a great week? And then remove one of those blockers. And then a third option is use specific recognition. What you did, why it mattered, what it shows about you. Recognition is oxygen when energy is low.
Absolutely. Love those, Stacey. And engagement is what you see on the surface. So the entire underneath it is capacity. So which brings us to trend number 2. The capacity gap is real, and it's creating burnout by design. Microsoft's Work Trend Index found a capacity gap. 53% of leaders say productivity must increase, while 80% of the global workforce says they lack the time or the energy to even do the work. And Microsoft telemetry showed people are interrupted every 2 minutes by meetings, by email, or notifications. I mean, we've all lived it, right? And in coaching, we see executives who can't get a clean hour to think. This is real, right? Their calendars are patchwork of meetings, quick pings, urgent escalations. It's all over the place.
Yeah, the 2 minutes feels more like 20 seconds sometimes.
Yes, totally. Oh my word.
For sure. And the downstream effect is predictable. Leaders become reactive, teams lose direction, and everyone feels like they're behind before the day even starts. I've had many days like that. I'm sure you have too, Tracy Ann, right? Yeah, and the root cause is not that people are less resilient, it's that the work system is demanding more output while breaking the very conditions that create capacity, focus, recovery, autonomy, and clarity. And so when that becomes chronic, you get burnout by design. The World Health Organization defines burnout as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, whoever in the audience is listening right now, this is real brutal truth stuff, right? This is real. And people are scared to talk about it. Hey, Stacey, I mean, people are genuinely not talking about it, and we need to. So let's practically break this down. Here's a 7-day capacity reset you can run. Protect focus time. Team rule: 2 meetings, 3 blocks per week. Kill work about work. No agenda, no meetings. Convert status to async. And stop rewarding responsiveness over results. Say it out loud. Model it. And create a blocker busting rhythm weekly. What's slowing us down? Then remove one of the systemic friction points. Then remove systemic friction point.
Yeah, and that, capacity is time plus energy, right? The next trend is capability because work is changing faster than most orgs are training. We know that it's been that way. And so, trend number 3, skills disruption and AI are outpacing leadership readiness. The World Economic Forum said that employers expect 39% of workers' core skills to change by 2030. So almost half the people, your core skills, not just these ancillary things, your core skills are going to change.
Crazy, crazy. And Gartner reported only 8% of HR leaders believe that managers have the skills to use AI effectively today. We're coaching leaders who feel behind. And AI is in the building. Employees are experimenting, and managers are unsure what's allowed, what's ethical, and what good even looks like.
Right. We're also seeing teams split into two populations: the early adopters who are accelerating, and everyone else who feels threatened or confused. The root cause isn't AI, it's that organizations roll out tools without building a management system like guardrails, training, use cases, and coaching.
And when managers can't translate change, Stacey, into daily behaviors, teams get anxiety, there's inconsistency, and then you have the shadow workflows.
Yeah, so true, Tracy Ann. And so here's 3 actions that could reduce fear and raise capability. And one is publish your AI rules of the road. What's allowed, what's not, what data is off limits, and who approves that. And we say AI, but it really can be any new tool, new process, new anything that you're bringing in. And then number 2 is pick 3 use cases, train them deeply. Don't boil the ocean. That is the hardest thing sometimes. Choose the high value workflows where AI can remove friction or whatever process you're bringing in can remove that friction. And then 3, create a learning cadence. 15 minutes weekly. Ask, what did we automate? What improved? What risks did we notice?
Yeah, and just fantastic advice, Stacey. I hope everyone in the audience is writing these down because these are things you can implement immediately right now. Now, moving on to trend 4. When capability is in flux, trust becomes everything. And Gartner is explicit. Lack of trust negatively impacts employee engagement, effort, and organizational performance. And career development is part of trust. Gartner reported only 46% of employees feel satisfied with career development in their organization. I mean, that is really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And in coaching, we hear, I don't know what's rewarded anymore, right? And when people don't understand how to grow or what's fair, they stop investing emotionally. We also see trust that fractures during constant reorgs, right? Shifting priorities and initiative whiplash. People learn don't commit too hard because it's going to change anyway.
Hear that all the time. And trust breaks when leaders overpromise, under-explain, and also don't close the loops. You don't rebuild trust with a speech. You rebuild it with predictable behavior.
Yeah, so here's some things that you could try out for a trust loop. One is explain the why in plain language. I always go back to the Simon Sinek, the why. It's an old TED talk. Whether you love or hate Simon Sinek, this is something that people can relate to. And number two is name the trade offs. Here's what we're choosing not to do. Being deliberate about what you're not doing is huge for people in building that trust. And then number three is close the loop in 14 days, right? If you ask for feedback, report back. And what you heard and what you're doing, let people know. And that 14 days is just a guideline of like if you haven't said anything or heard anything in that time frame, it's time to step up and say something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, last one. Let's talk about trend number 5, the great stay. Lower quits, but not necessarily higher commitment. Okay. So, retention, because the great stay can still hide disengagement. We think it means retention, but I could still hide this disengagement factor.
Yeah, yeah. An SHRM reported voluntary quits declining from 43.3% to 38.5%. And that's a shift that some call the great stay. We always have to label it, right?
Always have to label it. I know it's crazy. But we're seeing reluctant stayers, right? So people who remain because the market feels uncertain, but their discretionary effort is gone.
Yeah, which is why retention metrics can look stable while performance quietly erodes. And leaders win the great stay by building two things: momentum, which is progress people can feel, future, which is growth people can see, and then run quarterly future conversations like what skills are you building? What role do you want next? What experiences can we give you this quarter? These questions can be so powerful.
So powerful. And I love all three of those questions. They're amazing. So we're going to close with a simple operating system that leaders can use. And it's called reset. Reduce noise, protect focus, and tighten your meetings, right? Engineer capacity, remove friction, stop urgency culture, strengthen managers, coach the coach, train the manager layer. And then that important one we spoke about, right? Earn trust, explain, trade off, and close the loops. And then train for what's next, whether it's AI or something else, as Stacey said. But build that AI and core skill readiness with a cadence. Again, whatever you need to build for your team and get them trained up. And if you want a high performing team, you don't need more pressure. You need a better system. Clarity, focus, trust, and capability installed through cadence.
Yeah. And if you're someone listening right now and you're like, this is exactly what we're living in our organization, or I'm living, right? Start with just one change this week. Protect your focus time, define the weekly win, and close one trust loop.
I love that. So that's how turnaround starts quietly, consistently, and on purpose.
Yeah, so thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching the video version, we're committed to your success as a leader. And this is all about giving you practical advice that you can immediately leverage. If you found this helpful, please tell someone else and have them follow us as well. Thank you.
If you enjoyed the show, please go to leadershipmomentspodcast.com to subscribe to the podcast or on your favorite player, as well as follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn.
You can also send us a message on what you like and don't like, or what guest you want us to have on the show.
So until next time,
This is Stacey Castor, and what doesn't challenge you won't change you.
and I'm Tracy Ann Palmer. Be the change you wish to see in the world.